freaking first cut. Golly.
What's going on, YouTube? Round 3 at the Byron Nelson is in the books. We're here to break it all down, look at the live odds for the final round. Hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed. We'll jump into it right now. Welcome to the First Cut Podcast. I'm Rick Gehman. That right there, Greg DuCharme. Greg, you like scoring, bud? Because we got a lot of it.
Yes, we did. And it seems to be the norm here at this event. But I mean, you got 61 out there. You got 62s and 63s and 60s so far this week. I don't know what we're going to get tomorrow, but I have a feeling that 25 under mark is in jeopardy.
Yeah, it's getting easier. Round 1 was 1.8 under par. Round 2 was 2.8 under par. Round 3, 3.5 under par. I didn't think we'd sniff 25 under, which is the tournament scoring record that they posted in really wet, just prime conditions last year around TPC Craig Ranch. We're going to blow it away, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. Even when there's a little bit of wind, like, I mean, you were seeing Thursday, Friday, some gusts of wind, 20 miles an hour. And it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter for these guys. When they're playing well, they just find a way to make birdies. And the greens are receptive enough. You can hit some really good long irons in there. You can access front hole locations. It's not as receptive as last year. You still see some bounce, but they have the ability to stop it. I think if you and I went out and played there, Rick, it would seem somewhat firm, but these guys hit it so high. They're able to spin it so much. There's no safe hole location.
69 eagles have been recorded through the first 2 rounds of this event. That's the most on tour through 36 holes since 1983. I wasn't even born yet.
I was noticing early. I remember looking at the board on Thursday morning, and there were like 3 guys with 2 eagles in their first 9 holes. It was crazy, and the numbers just keep piling up. I mean, you might see a number like that after round 2 next week for birdies at the PGA Championship. It's wild.
It's amazing. The man who has led wire to wire is Sebastian Munoz. The opening round 60, 69 on Friday, 66 here on Saturday. That's 6 under par. I got to admit, Greg, I've been really impressed. I think it is terrifying for him to look in the rear view and see the guys trying to chase him down. He's a gazelle right now, trying to outrun a pack of lions. But yeah. Munoz has been, I think, incredibly solid. He sprayed one off the tee on 18 here on Saturday, got it back into position. I just really like how solid he is. I have no idea if he's going to win the golf tournament.
I look at what he's done so far in his greens of regulation. He has 2 rounds with 16 greens of regulation. Now he's had 2 really nice approach the green days as far as strokes gained are concerned, but really 3 really nice days greens of regulation wise. And this is what the board was filled with last year. And it's filled with it again so far this year. But that kind of iron play, when you can hit 16, 17 greens of regulation. I mean, he's hit 16 greens twice and 14 greens the other day. And you're not going to give strokes away, but it looks like he has that mindset of, okay, I'm going to give myself looks, look after look after look. And if they fall like they did in round 1 and you have a great putting day, well, all of a sudden you shoot 60. If they don't fall, you do what you did the last 2 days and you shoot in the mid 60s. I know it was 69 yesterday, but you're shooting in the mid 60s. That's really hard to catch. And he already has that really hot putting day, but I can tell you, he's probably going to need 5 or 6 under again tomorrow to have a chance of winning. Because you're right, there's a pack of lions behind him.
Jordan Spieth is one of them. Actually, before we get to Jordan Spieth, it would be Sebastian Munoz's second career PGA Tour victory. Greg, do you remember where his first was?
Yeah, the Sanderson Farms.
He's got the chicken trophy or the rooster trophy, whatever it is.
Yeah, and I think he shot in that tournament. He shot 63 in round 3. I was looking at some of his low scores because he's done it a bunch of times. It's seven times on the PGA Tour he's shot 64 or better, and only once did he answer with a round below 70. And this was now the second time. with the 69 in round 2, which I thought was really important for him because it was kind of a slow start. And in a way, you shoot 12 under in the first round and you show up to round 2 and you're not in the lead and you're getting train wrecked and you're making a couple of bogeys and you end up getting the lead back by the end of the day and shooting 69. I thought that was really important for him. And today he looked looser. He looked a lot looser to start today than he did yesterday, starting off that round. So I have a feeling he's kind of comfortable and he's played through that real nervous round, which I think could bode really well for him tomorrow.
Looking for a second tour title in 119 starts. Jordan Spieth looking for his second tour title in 2 starts, Greg, because last time we saw him was the victory at the RBC Heritage, and here he sits just 1 shot off the pace, 67, 65, and then a Saturday 64. He's gaining strokes with the putter this week. Talked about that in his post-round interview. Also talked about, he said something interesting like, after a win, you never know how quickly you're going to be able to get back into it. And he's like, I guess I'm doing it pretty quickly here. I'm like, yeah, I guess you are, bud. Good job.
Well, I know, Rick, at the beginning of the week, you were very high on him. I was as well. I mean, you played him in one and done. I guess I wasn't as high on him as you were, but I really liked him this week. We talked about it on Monday. He's had a little bit of time off. And although he's coming off a win, there was a very clear, glaring issue in his game. And after missing the cut at the Masters and after the Valero Texas Open and those really poor putting performances, he changed his practice routine and he started putting a little more effort into putting. But before that, he had, it's the model. It's the model we talk about all the time. He had this foundation of really solid ball striking, and he really has improved it. His misses off the tee are not as errant. I know he only hit 7 fairways yesterday, but 10 today, 10 in round 1. He's gaining significant strokes off the tee. And you're seeing a steady improvement with his iron play. But that's the foundation of his game. And the real reason I liked him coming into the week is my expectation was, okay, and this time off, he knows exactly what he needs to work on. There's a very clear focus. And although you won, it doesn't feel like it was a peak. It feels like it was like you got lucky to win, and there's still more to work on. And I think that has kept him hungry, and it makes him a very, very scary threat tomorrow. I mean, not only is he gaining strokes putting for the week, but he's gained in every round, which I think may be more important than the total number that he's gained so far.
He could win this event, and if he wins 3 in a row, then Greg, he'd be the 6th man in history to ever complete the career Grand Slam, which would be a fun little subplot to the Phil/Tiger conversation that we're going to have next week.
Yeah, I wonder what's going to take place with that next week, because the Phil story, I know you guys talked about it last night, is such a big story, and everybody's going to be asked about it. Tiger play, and everybody's going to be asked about that. And so what is going to happen to the guys like Jordan Spieth? Is this story of him having an opportunity to complete the career Grand Slam feels like it has not been a story. It hasn't been up to the level anywhere near Rory, anywhere near Phil. And it seems like this kind of almost forgotten storyline heading into a week. You think back to, I guess the 2018 PGA was the first time, and Jordan's game wasn't really in great shape in 18, and nobody really felt like, oh, by the way, you also had Tiger on the comeback trail. Yeah. Then in 19, Jordan's game's not in good shape, and nobody's talking about it. He comes in tied 3rd. In 2020, it's this COVID year. Again, Jordan's not in great form. Nobody talks about it. And it feels like this hasn't been a conversation at all. And this year, I think it has I don't know what's going to happen. I would think, hey, okay, if he wins this week, it's going to be a huge story.
It has to be. He's going to win 2 events leading into it. It's going to have to be, but I feel like it's still not.
Well, it's masked by a couple of things, right? I mean, I wonder if Tiger and Phil mask it. They take away some of that heat, and it is not the top story. If he wins, I wonder how that changes. I imagine it's got to change pretty significantly.
I hope so. We'll see. Tiger and Phil suck up a lot of the oxygen. The guy in third, Joaquin Niemann, shot a second consecutive 65 on Saturday. This is the guy I've got the pre-tournament ticket on. I use Spieth in the one and done, but my wallet would appreciate Joaquin Niemann winning this. Greg, he legit might need to shoot another 65 on Sunday to win this. That would put him at 26 under. What's the winning score?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a little difficult to tell, but you have a bunch leaderboard. Joaquin's and you got Spieth, Joaquin, Munoz, all capable of going low. And then you have Justin Thomas at 18 under. So I think 25 under is very much in reach for everybody 18 or better. It's not a ceiling round necessarily to reach 25 under. So is one of those guys going to go out and play like that? Is somebody are they going to be a little bit slower? Is a 17 going to reach 26? I mean, that'd be a great round. Is it going to be enough? So the real question is, do one of the guys that are 18 or better go out and shoot that 9 under round? But I would say my instinct is 26 under is probably your number. I think that's probably it. So yeah, it's going to require a great round, but it's going to require a great round for everybody to win.
If it's 26, Scotty Scheffler will have to shoot a 10 under round. He's at 16 under, but he leads the field or tied for the lead in birdies this week, Greg, which I think is an excellent sign of the state of his game. He obviously had that triple on Friday, I believe it was, on 13, which, has kind of submarined his chances here a little bit. But Scotty just continues to roll, man. It's birdies. It's playing well. He had a bunch of his early, the first 5 holes. Give me a second. I'll look this up. The first 5 holes today, he missed a 11-foot 9-inch putt for birdie. He missed a 12-foot 2-inch putt for birdie. He missed a 6-foot 11-inch putt for birdie out of the gate, and then he finally made one at number 5. Like he is just giving himself. So this is like in fantasy football. It's not so much about catches, Greg. It's about targets. You got to have opportunity, baby. Right. Yeah, you got to have opportunity, and Scotty Scheffler's given himself a ton of opportunity. Yeah,
it's a volume contest this week, and look, we knew that coming in. When you talk about how many greens in regulation everybody in the top 10 hit last year, which was just staggering to look at the numbers. I mean, guys are hitting over 60 greens. It was crazy last year. It's kind of the same story this year. So coming into the event, my concern with Scotty was, well, his short game is this huge asset, and it's played a really big role in all of his victories so far. And I thought that wouldn't be as important this week. And so one of his greatest assets would be minimized. And that reduces the separation from the rest of the field. Like at API, at the Masters, and even in the match play. Those are short game's a really big aspect in tournaments like that. This week it's not. But his iron play has completely, it's shown to be just as good as, maybe even better than we thought. And it's been, he's third in the field approaching the green so far this week. He's hit 14 greens the first 2 days, 15 greens today. But that's the volume you talk about. It's plenty of looks. And it hasn't been a great putting week. It hasn't been bad, but there's been missed opportunities. But he just keeps on giving them to himself. So yeah, he's impressive. 10 under round is, look, it's a great round. Is that in the cards? I think it's going to be out there. I don't know if Scotty's going to go shoot it, right? But he looks pretty good.
Somebody will shoot it. I don't know who it's going to be. Somebody will shoot it.
Right. It's really hard to predict because a lot of these guys look really good. I mean, Justin Thomas looks really good. He's got that kind of number in him. I don't know if Jordan and Sebastian in the final group will have that kind of number in them, but it's out there, and there's plenty of firepower here to see that happen.
It'll be somebody random. It'll be like Bryce Garnett, who goes out early and shoots like a 62.
Yeah, you can see that. I mean, look at what you've already seen. You had James Hahn does, right? He shoots 61 today. Yeah. You had Skins yesterday shoot 62 or 63. 63. So yeah, you've had some really low rounds, and it's Ryan Palmer shot 62 yesterday. So it's out there, and it doesn't require you to be a big name player in order to do it. And that makes it really interesting. I mean, if you think there's a 10 under round out there, everybody in the top 10 has a chance. And I wouldn't be surprised to see it from a guy at 15 under. So you're talking about 17 guys where a round of 62 could really give him a good chance to win.
All right, well, let's assign some odds to these guys here. I'll take a look at the live odds from our friends over at Caesar Sportsbook. But first, we're going to take a quick break and hear a word from our partners. And we're back. Jordan Spieth, no surprise, he's the favorite. Plus 200. Sebastian Munoz, who's currently in the lead, plus 275. Then the chase pack, Joaquin Niemann at 4.5 to 1. Justin Thomas, 5.5 to 1. That's the big four, Greg. The leader in Munoz and the Lions. And if you want to go deeper than that, if you think there's a low score available for guys beyond, James Hahn is 25 to 1, along with Scotty Scheffler. Ryan Palmer and KH Lee are both 35 to 1. Charles Schwartzel, 40 to 1. Davis Riley, 70. Bo Hostler, 100 to 1.
It's quite interesting. I mean, the guys like JT and up, to me, that's probably where the winner comes from. I believe one of those four guys, they have the firepower, they have the positioning on the leaderboard. I think that's probably where your winner comes from. But so the hope is that you have some action there going forward. Is JT a good value right now? It's more playable than Spieth or Munoz. And Joaquin may be fair value too. I think they're playable, although I don't love them. But going down the board a little bit, I think the best value play is probably KH Lee, who's at 35 to 1. He's your defending champion, and he's very, very much in the thick of this thing, just 4 shots back. So I don't think there's going to be a lot of pressure on him tomorrow. He's played some really nice golf. I think he's probably the value play on the board.
Yeah, he's gained 7 strokes in the ball striking categories. He hasn't even putted particularly well, gaining less than a stroke for the week. So it's out there if you can find a hot putter. The other one that I would consider if you want to throw a dart is Davis Riley. We've seen him get hot at times. Yeah. He shot a pair of 64s in the last 2 rounds. Even if he shoots, if he shoots another 64 and the course doesn't play 4 shots under, it just plays like 2.7 under. Like he would at least be in the mix to maybe get himself into a playoff, and then see what happens. But obviously, it's a sprinkle action.
Yeah, all he's got to do is shoot 3 straight 64s. No, yeah,
and get lucky.
But he has that firepower. I mean, he's great. I really like watching him play, and he's a good developing talent. And I'm interested to see what he does tomorrow. I think that 16 just seems too far back. Just feels like you got to shoot 62. But I agree with you. It's a good number for him.
We'll see. And it will be fireworks in Dallas, no matter how it goes down, because I think there's going to be a lot of birdies and a lot of eagles being made all day long. We'll be back after the final putt drops to discuss all the implications and immediately or eventually declare it PGA Championship week. For now, producer Jacob does all the hard work behind the scenes. Thank you very much. That right there, it's Greg DuCharme. You can find him on Twitter at TheRealGFD, and you can find me at Rick Run Good. This has been The First Cut, and we'll catch you next time.